So I hope you all got coffee, and if you don't, afterwards you can come to our stand and get some more coffee. We have a nice espresso machine, and you get some more coffee. Yesterday I talked about big data, and you may have heard from my colleague who passed around these kinds of little postcards for signing up. We're handing out free books in Data We Trust. So the first 25 people who bring this filled out to our stand after this presentation get a free book. 25? Is it 30? 30 people, sorry. Yesterday it was 25, today is 30. Good, so what am I talking today? Think mobile is mobile developing the right message. My name is Daniel Harari. I'm Vice President of Client Services and co-founder of a company called emarsys. And just to bore you for 2 slides, I'd like to say a little bit of who we are. emarsys is a multi-channel marketing automation provider. We send over 50 billion messages on behalf of more than 1,000 clients every year. We've been around a few years. We've got offices all over the world, and and a few other things that you can read on this slide. These are some of the customers that we serve. You may recognize some of those names. So, why mobile? It's a good question. Why mobile? Does anybody here have one of these phones? No? This is all a young crowd. It's good. Who has one of those? Hands up. So we all have smartphones here. Good. Because this is the game changer. This is why I'm holding this presentation right now. When Apple introduced iPhone, it just took the smartphone industry to a complete new level. The ways that we interact with our phones is not just anymore text messages and phone calls. It just changed everything. There's apps, there's interaction, there's social, and most important, email. Yes, BlackBerry was there first and was sending emails back and forth. There's push technology, but it was more like to do with office mails. When we talk about marketing emails or marketing communication on mobile devices, BlackBerry wasn't really the best device to read those on. Still, older BlackBerry versions, if you have one of those, and one of the unlucky few, if you receive marketing messages on those devices, they look like, sorry for the word, shit. So, this changed everything, and that's why we have to kind of rethink how we go about targeting people who have mobile devices. Just some numbers. This year, Reuters says the global sales of smartphones will grow about 46% to 687.9 million units. That's a staggering number. This is the global smartphone operating system penetration. Android has overtaken the Apple operating system. BlackBerry has a few percentages left, and Windows Mobile is sort of tinkling in the lower digits. And I think Nokia and all the other ones, I think Firefox is coming out with a new operating system for mobile. They're just going to be under the 4% there. Here's some more stats about mobile and email together. 82% of smartphone users check and send emails on their devices. 63% of Americans and 41% of Europeans, including British people, British residents, close or delete emails that are not optimized for mobile. 38.5% of mobile internet time is spent using email. Now those stats alone have to get us thinking about, okay, what am I doing with my marketing messages that are being read on mobile devices? Am I taking this to account or not? 96% of all emails opened by mobile will not be opened again on the desktop. If you're like me and you're receiving lots of emails every day, what I do when I'm on the road on the way to work, open my email browser here and just go swipe, delete, swipe, delete, swipe, delete, swipe, delete. And what am I basing the swipe delete on? Do I open the email? No. It's the sender name and the subject line that I'm taking into account. Swipe, delete, swipe, delete, swipe, delete. Click rates of emails opened on mobile devices are only half the ones that are on desktop, which means that emails are definitely not mobile friendly. And 24% of emails in the UK, of all emails, are opened on a mobile device. So how are companies currently approaching the topic of mobile messaging? How should they be doing it? So what are the challenges and the solutions for implementing a mobile email strategy? So, I think this is a normal email, marketing email that you might send out to your clients. It looks good. This is the desktop version. It looks fantastic. This is how it looks on an iPhone. If the images are downloaded, if they have properly thought how to encode the HTML so it doesn't get sort of pushed away all the different layouts. And this is how it looks on the BlackBerry. We don't want to zoom on mobile devices. The same email here looks great big, but now, you all know this? Two fingers, sometimes if you're holding it with one hand, it's really complicated. You're holding something else in the second hand, you're going somewhere, and it says like, oh, wait a second. That's not really efficient. I said, oh, you know what, I'll do that later. I'm not bothering zooming. I'll either delete that email or I'll maybe look it up later. But later could be a few hours later, you're turning to computer, to desktop, and then you have another 50 messages in your inbox, and the message that you wanted to read is further down the line, and you forget it. So we don't want to zoom. It's a problem. The text is too small. We don't want to use that. Or use a magnifying glass in reading the text on our emails. Again, has related to zoom. We don't want to zoom that text. There's too much content. It's too cluttered. The links are too small. What I call the fatty finger syndrome. We all have fatty fingers when it comes to interacting with a mobile device. Try clicking a text link that's this small with your thumb. It's virtually impossible. If there's two links, one above each other, it's always like, oh man, I clicked the wrong link. And it opens the web page. It's like, oh, go back. And if you're in data roaming and everything, oh, additional cost. Oh my God, go back, oh God, crashed. Open the email browser again. Again, zoom, try to click it with that, this time it's the pointing finger, not the thumb. It's too complicated. Links are way too small. And most times it's also the bad layout. The layout is not optimized for displaying on a mobile device. And images are often not displayed. If you leave the standard settings on the iPhone, then images are being rendered. But sometimes many users now say, you know, I don't want all the additional data volume, so I'm disabling images to be downloaded automatically. So this is a challenge. All of that we have to overcome. How do we do that? Well, first of all these things lead to a few problems. First of all, fewer clicks and opens. We read before, one of the statistics is opens and clicks are only half that on mobile devices than what they are on desktop devices. Therefore, if there's fewer clicks and opens, there's a lower conversion rate. If you click through, there's a chance that you convert. If you don't click through, there's less a chance that you will convert. And obviously, a negative brand experience. If you're sending me emails constantly that for me, I cannot read on a mobile device, I'm just like going to say, you know what, I'm going to stop opening the emails from this company because I can't interact, I can't read those emails. And that's a negative brand experience that they have, the recipients have, with your emails, your marketing messages. So how do companies currently deal with it? Not at all. Life's great. Why bother? Send the same thing. I don't care. It's wonderful. The email looks okay. Let them zoom, whatever. It's fantastic. Don't do anything at all. Those who take it a step further, there's this pre-header link on top of the email. If you cannot see this email properly, click here or open it on a web browser. Some more advanced people put a view mobile version link on top. Does anybody know what the click rate on those pre-header links are? Any guesses? 1%? On average, 0.75%. On average. But again, that's a text link. Zoom, big finger, fatty finger, boom, click, opens. And what it normally does is a text version. Opens a text version or then a hosted landing page with a mobile version of the email, which is not ideal. Because again, you have to click through on that small text link and it doesn't lead to anything. Some people want to be really smart. They segment their recipients. They analyze who's opening my emails on a mobile device. I'm going to send them a separate version. I'm going to save them in a separate list and create a separate email that's optimized just for mobile recipients. And all the other ones are receiving the desktop version. Problem is, unless you want to create about 5 different versions for your mobile recipients, one for Android, one for iPhone, one for BlackBerry, one for Windows, it's too much work. Second of all, you're negating the fact that these are people. They might open for the first time the email on a mobile device, but they might open it again on a desktop device. So if they open it on a mobile device, they're a mobile recipient, get the mobile optimized version, then they say, you know what, I really like this email, I'll mark it for looking up later, go back to the desktop, open it again, and it's that really thin one column kind of version. It's also not good. So, not ideal. Hybrid design. The duck. A duck is a wonderful animal. It can swim, it can fly, it can walk, but none of it really good. It can't swim as well as a fish, it can fly as well as an eagle, and it can run as fast as a rabbit. But it can do all of 3, so hybrid design is like, I'm doing a compromise here. I'm doing a sort of a one-size-fits-all version that is slightly smaller than the normal desktop version and slightly bigger than an optimized mobile version. It's sort of a one-size-fits-all. So it's not really ideal for both worlds, but it's better than nothing. Also not ideal. Because you're missing out on the advantages of a nice big layout and mobile version, and you're missing out on the advantages of a more scaled down mobile version. So what to do? If none of these options are ideal, how do I approach that? What is the ideal solution? There is only one, and one alone, and it's none of these. This is called responsive design. Responsive design is basically sort of the same mechanism that works on website, that translates normal websites into mobile websites automatically when you open them when you type in the URL of your company's website and it sort of changes to the mobile version. It's sort of the similar concept behind it. Basically, what it is, the actual technology behind it is called media queries. Media queries is something that looks up your screen resolution. And based on your screen resolution, whether it's a screen on a tablet, on an iPhone, on a desktop, it chooses the right version to display completely automatically. So what does responsive design actually mean? So if you have a desktop version that looks like this, the mobile version Originally, it would look like this without adaptation. The responsive design would look like this. And all the layout is adapted automatically. So you don't have to think. You don't have to think putting in a pre-header link. You don't have to think about segmenting the people who's opening on a mobile device, because the technology does it by itself. It decides if you're opening on a mobile device now, you will see that version. If you go half an hour later to your desktop and opening the same email, you will see this, and back and forth and back and forth. So you don't have to break your head. So how can I implement responsive design? It's great, I want to do that. The only one solution. The one thing is, you add responsive code to your HTML code of your emails. Now, if you want to do it really complicated, every time you send an email, you first create HTML, and then you put that responsive code inside that sort of adapts the layout automatically. Or you can implement it in some sort of local CMS that you're using, and that sort of insets the responsive code automatically. Or you use responsive email templates. Those are templates where in the design, in the basic template layout, the responsive code is already implemented. So no matter what kind of content you put into that email, it automatically takes over that responsive code, and you don't have to think anymore. You just work with it like you put with a normal marketing message, normal newsletter. You insert the content, and in the background, the template does everything for you. So, some responsive design best practices. First of all, removing the pre-header. We don't need pre-headers anymore. We have to increase the font size, because the text is too small. We don't want to zoom. We want people to read it when they're walking like this. They should be able to read the text in your mobile version of your email. Have a dedicated mobile banner. So automatically, if you open a desktop, it has a bigger banner, and have an adapted banner that only shows when you're opening the mobile version. Convert text links to buttons, larger buttons that are easier to click with our fatty fingers. If you have like text below image, here is right next to the image, that doesn't work in a mobile version. Have the text below the image or above the image. And convert multiple columns into one column for easy scrolling and obviously better display of larger images and larger text. So if you have smaller images like here, they can remain in the mobile version next to the text. If you have navigation that's horizontal on the bottom or on the top of your email, that has to become vertical navigation. So have those navigation elements one below each other. Now some real-life example of companies who've implemented that. This is a fashion online store, high fashion out of Italy. This is the email that they sent, the desktop version. This is how their mobile version looks like. And they've experienced a 25% increase in opens and clicks on mobile devices. Living Social, this is how their email looks like in a desktop version. The mobile version looks like this. They've had a 40% increase in mobile clicks and opens. So before we get to Q&A, some parting thoughts. First of all, a little summary. Mobile email marketing is not optional. If you're sending emails, marketing messages via email, you have to implement a mobile strategy. There's no option, because 25% of all emails in the UK are open on mobile devices. All the stats that I showed in the beginning, and by the way, if you want this presentation deck, come to our stand, hand in your business card, and we send it back to you over the next few days. Those stats are real stats from Reuters, from Google, from Nielsen, from ComScore. All these are latest stats from end of last year or early this year. So this is not an option. If you're sending email marketing messages, you need to implement a mobile strategy. However, do analyze the status quo of your recipients. What's the current status? What's my current mobile distribution among recipients? How many recipients open on what kind of mobile browser operating system are they opening the device? How many iPhone, iPads, Android users do I have? What's the current opens and clicks? Only because of that can you then afterwards judge what kind of uplift you have by implementing responsive design for email. Of course, implement responsive design because that's the only real solution that works automatically without giving you any headaches. And don't forget mobile landing pages. If you have a wonderfully, beautifully implemented mobile email design that renders automatically across all devices, and then your website is not mobile enabled, there's no point. We're starting from scratch because you get to your website, you still have the problem that you have to zoom, you can't find the things, links are too small, and it doesn't work. So please make sure that you also have mobile landing pages available. And then test, analyze, and then optimize. Sometimes the way that the responsive layout works is like, okay, I don't need a dedicated banner here. Maybe the layout that I've chosen to automatically adapt is not the right version of the layout. Maybe I need to put the text above the images or below the images. So test that to see how you can increase conversion rates, clicks, and opens. The future, and it's going to be really challenging because mobile devices are going to change. I think by the end of this year, we're going to see the first people wearing that. We see Sergey Brin already running around in New York and in California in some hotspots wearing this kind of the Google Glass. And Google Glass has email function. It's going to be very challenging, very interesting to see how marketing messages that you will still receive on your visual inbox in front of your eye, how that will work out, how people can interact with that. There's see-through devices. These are all prototypes that are now being handed and evaluated in all the different hardware producers. Smaller devices that interact with like a phone combo that you wear in your wristwatch. All of this provide new challenges, but it means that mobile is not going to be a phase. Mobile is here to stay. And we have to constantly adapt the way that we go about implementing a mobile strategy for our marketing messages. Because the devices will change, but the mobile strategy will not. So with the growth of mobile and m-commerce, there's more widespread tablet use, new security considerations. Because right now on the web we have lots of security things and HTTPS. On a mobile that's sort of still a bit back, not quite there yet. More mobile payment options. So you don't have to start, if you want to convert through your mobile email, you click it to the mobile landing page. You don't want to have to zoom and start typing in your credit card number. Because that's not an effective mobile conversion. You want to have an easy option and a secure option to achieve mobile payment while on the go. Fully optimized mobile websites, which is still not there yet. We're still not there yet. And of course, richer mobile content. Right now, the content options for mobile devices are very limited, but the more advanced we get, we are already experimenting with some more creative, rich media content in mobile emails.